They just don't use it regularly. Hey, everybody. This is Simply D.
This is Joel. Sorry you don't get to see our faces today. Actually, maybe that's for the better. But yeah. Welcome to the INNERMIX show, Hangouts.
I just did enough of my face so that we'd have something for our screen capture when people look up our episode. But today you guys get to have an experience like you guys haven't had in a while with us, where we started off doing radio. So everybody's talks about how they miss the radio show feel and experience and stuff like that. And because Google is having issues with Hangouts anyway, then one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to bring you back to that radio experience. Now, a couple things. A little bit in my background, but basically I'm home today, and my wife has company, so they're talking too. So don't worry about that. But we are going to definitely have a good time on today's show. But we're going to start things off with how we normally start things off. We're going to ask Jules how her weekend was, because she's the only one of us that actually has a life. So, Jules, how was your weekend?
You got a life? Something like that?
Hey, I don't get to jump out of airplanes.
You have many lives.
I wear many hats in this one life. I wear many hats in this one life. So yes. But how was your weekend, Jules? What's going on with you? Why don't you want...
You went straight though. How was your weekend?
Yeah. How was your weekend, Jules? Hey, I was telling my wife earlier I wasn't today or yesterday. I was telling her how it's funny how black people tend to take words and condense them so that they don't. So if you listen to them really closely, you're like, wait, that's not even a word. Like living room as opposed to living room. Living room, go get that out the liver room. And I'm saying, now you slow down, you sound like go get that out the liver room. You know, that's the. But I was thinking about my dad recently, and every time he told me, go get that out the living room. The living room, over there in the living room. I'm like, the liver room? You know, yet you get mad at me if I don't do well in English. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So,
hilarious. Yeah. Hilarious. Anyway, my weekend. It was, what did I do this weekend? One thing that really pops into mind, because it's all apparent on my face, I got hence why I say, and maybe it's for the better that you guys, the video is not working on Google Plus today. Somebody bought me for my birthday a package deal thing to a photo facial. So IPL photo facial. So I was like, oh yeah, it's, great. This doctor got really great reviews. You never want to. By the way, FYI, for those of you who ever want to try any kind of facials, when it comes to lasers, don't ever go to just some random technician, beautician who says they got a license through the internet. Do not do that. You want to go to a doctor. A licensed doctor to use these laser machines. It's the freaking laser on your face. You want to go to a doctor. Anyway, so the facility I went to, it is indeed a doctor with great reviews. I went to, actually this Sunday, I went for my second appointment. The first appointment was about a month ago. I felt nothing. I didn't see any results, really. Well, at least I didn't think so. I see my face every day, so I don't really notice any slight differences. But so I told that to the doctor on Sunday, and she's like, okay, so we'll just make it a little more intense. We'll just up it a little bit because you didn't see anything the first time. Why didn't my face burn off? So my face is super red right now. I don't know if any of you have ever watched Sex and the City episode where Samantha gets an acid peel.
Nope, never watched it.
Oh, well, it's not that bad.
Because I'm a guy.
She literally wore like a beehive over her face or what is it, the bee net things, those hats with the netting.
Right. The beekeeper hat.
Yes, something like that. Except it was not, because she's chic. But yes, I need one of those because my face is pretty red and it has wherever the laser hit, it's red. It's bright.
I want to stop right there, just right there, real quick, because see, when I saw something pop up that said photo facial, so many things came to mind, and I even thought about doing a spoof on a photo facial because, see, women do the darndest things to their bodies. And
That's not the word you were gonna use.
no, it sure wasn't. I was gonna say the dumbest things to their body, but I was gonna like no, because Jules just did it, so I can't say the dumbest. So let me say the darndest. But anyway,
just wait. You just wait. In 2 weeks, my face is gonna be like a baby's bottom. I think. Apparently.
You know, I was like maybe a photo because I told my wife, it's like, you know what? I said I see this thing on here, photo facial. What is a photo facial? And then I said I could go to Google and look it up because then I remembered something from when I did the medical training stuff about it and some of the, you know, just different things that people have come in and talked to us about, right? But but I said, you know what? Nowadays it could be anything. It could be, you know, they may have a photo facial skin that you put on your computer to make your face look good when you look at your computer through your monitor so that you think you look good even though you don't. Or it could be something like people are standing around you and you just have a bunch of people with iPhones and Samsung phones and they all taking pictures of you real quick and then the flash is clearing your face up. Like it's just too much. But she said no and stop being stupid. So
Thank you, your wife.
But I thought but I thought, you know, photo facial. You know, technically people do that to themselves on Instagram all the time. You know,
no, you turned it around. That's facial photo, not photo facial.
Well, okay. Well, see, there's also a negative connotation to this term, but I just was leaving it out. But then,
oh my God.
Then I thought, you know, Samsung has this new thing on their selfie camera on their Galaxy S5 and you know and stuff, right? Where they call it beauty shot, but I think they could change the term to photo facial too because it takes out it smooths your skin out.
Oh, they have that on all the other Samsungs too.
No, but they just added it to their phone this year, to where it does it automatically. It doesn't.
Automatically?
Yeah. And so now when you use that camera, it does it automatically, so you don't have to worry as much. So I tested it out because you know my skin tones are all over the place. But I tested it out. I was like, you know what? When I do, it does actually work. You know, it works on black people too, because you know I know that they're not the primary test market for these things.
Oh, what do you mean?
So, but I thought it was really kind of interesting. So I thought, okay, photo facial. How many ways can I use this term and keep it clean? Jules, back to you.
Anyway, back from the gutter.
What? What you said? Where I grew up was what? It was bad. It was kind of gutterish, really. Gutter mentality.
Oh, mentality. Yes. What was I saying?
Straight up from the gutter that we hear. Straight from the gutter down the whole team. No,
but I've been just putting on aloe vera. I think it's also partially my fault because I, in my attempt to also exercise, when the doctor said do not exercise for 24 hours, I went swimming.
Wait. You exposed a laser-exposed face, right, to chlorine?
Yeah, I'm really smart today, or yesterday.
Chlorine? Out of everything you could have exposed your face to, you picked chlorine.
I like to live on the wild side. So.
Girl, you better hope your face likes to recover. Like, chlorine? You might as well just splash bleach on your face, like, clean it up.
Okay. Well, maybe it'll brighten everything up with the chlorine.
Do you remember not too long ago we had someone do some touch-ups on some photos? You best hope that that's not your permanent touch-up. See, that's you look all white, just
blown out. Yeah.
Blown out. They'd be like, why do they always shoot with a yellow filter? Don't ask me. Yellow light, yellow filters. Why they always gotta shoot it? Look, she wants to feel closer to home. Shut up. Just leave her alone.
I have to dye my face with mustard. That's my night treatment.
And your butt would use spicy mustard, and then you'd be really embarrassed. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
I got to take these earphones off for a while, but I forgot. This is how I hear when people are having something to say. Gotta put these earphones back on. Okay.
So yeah, it's been a painful last 2 days, but it's okay. It's getting better.
You know what? My wife had the same. My wife has a very similar situation happening with her. And since we don't have the video on, I guess we can let her come over. No. We're not gonna. What was gonna happen though is see, we went to the beach. We had this weekend. Jules and I had an incredible experience. We went out to go see the new studio where we may be shooting our new show, our everything, right? Fantastic time. But then, anytime you have to make a long trip and you have to take the family with you for that trip, then after whatever needs to be taken care of is done, this is for all you guys who are entertainers and work in the entertainment industry, the rest of the day now belongs to your wife who went with you on this trip, right?
Of course.
So we went to the beach, right?
Nice.
And that was cool. It was a really nice time, whatever, except for the fact that my allergies were acting up because the air wasn't all that good, right? So allergies were acting up and eyes were watering, and, so I'm looking at the ocean and then I realized it's in my eye, it was, and then I've been having, because of all the fires and stuff, my skin's been reacting really bad to like the remains of all the stuff blowing through the air and everything, right? So my skin's acting up. So I'm on the sand, and sand, if anybody knows anything about sand, is what you use to make glass. Well, I felt like I was being stuck with glass the entire time I was at the beach because the wind would blow. The wind was blowing. It was like some razor blades just going across my skin.
Was it windy that day?
Yes, it was a bit windy. Yes, it was.
Maybe you should have gone in the water.
No, because then the glass would stick to my skin. Oh no, right. Girl. Right, so we did, so we but then my wife, she put on some sunscreen and the kids had their sunscreen on, but my wife, of course, being the lighter of all of us, she got sunburned. But then on our way home, we're driving home and we're stuck in traffic. Now I took a nap because I wasn't driving. My kids took a nap because they were running around all day, so they were just beat up by the sun. They were done, right? My wife, she's we're in traffic, and her arm's out the window. So guess what happens when we get?
Oh no!
Oh yeah, more sunburn. And I'm thinking, she's just trying to keep up with the rest of us, trying to get dark like the rest of the family. So without thinking about it, because I didn't notice the redness at first. I just like it was a good day. Pat her on the back.
Oh no!
Yeah, but see, I'm the nice one in this situation because I realize she's in pain, and I'm like, ooh, no, let me, help her out. I don't want to hurt her. Now, if this were happening to me, right, she would put on, she'd be tap dancing with her hands on my back, right? Right after she says, oh, take that shirt off, it might be hurting your skin, and then she'd get a steel wool so that no, she wouldn't do all that, but it would be funny if she did, but only for a hot second. Because she would laugh. The moment I jumped into the air, she would laugh. When my skin started acting up, she's so sweet, and she's like, let me help you with your skin stuff, and I'm like, fantastic, thank you, I love you, boo. But then the moment that the alcohol touches the most irritated part of my body, and I have to jump because what I do is I jump so that I don't react, because my first reaction is to solve the problem where the pain is being. I realized this the other day because I had to walk away for a minute, like, whoa, I almost got you. And she just laughed so hard.
Oh my God.
So you have to stand there and fight every natural reaction you have as a fighter. When it's like, I can't attack the person who's helping me, even though this is hurting like crazy. Because there are certain parts of your body, like in certain parts of your arm and some parts of your leg or whatever, that when it hurts, and it hurts more than any other part because there's no real the muscle is so deep in there that whatever's hurting is just traveling along the skin. It's just traveling along the skin, So me and Jules basically had painful weekends.
Good times.
Good times. At least I didn't ask a laser to hit me in the face. Hit me with your laser in the face. Ooh, I had a joke. Can't do it. Let's go on to our show.
No.
What's wrong with me?
Big fat N-O. No.
Big fat N? What?
Oh.
Oh, that's right.
No.
Oh.
God.
I just had to wake you up a little bit because.
Please help this one.
So, oh man, so you guys, first off, we gave you your little comedy intro because when we hurt, we feel we must share it in the most positive way possible, because we will be crying if not for that. Now, my wife, when I get hurt or Jules gets hurt, well, first off, when Jules gets hurt, my wife laughs, but then goes to see if she's okay.
Oh, I didn't know she laughs.
Oh, she laughs, but
Oh.
she's way more concerned about you when you get hurt. Like,
Oh, okay then.
Yeah. Okay then. Yeah. But when I get hurt, she laughs so hard that she cannot come to see if I'm okay. She takes herself out with laughter. And well, but anybody who knows my wife knows that she likes to, like I taught my wife certain things about massage, and then my wife, she's like, she knows the correct techniques, and she can make you. She's really good at helping people out, but she has a mother's hand, a mother's touch, and her thing is, she likes to make sure she gets everything and as deeply as possible. So just recently I gave her some instruction on how to help somebody who was, having some, circulation issues. And my wife had this little sad look on her face like, I can't make him scream? No.
That's the fun part.
Oh, you think?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no. Keep talking. Why is it my voice gets higher when I'm on the radio part, not on the screen part, though? I like this version. You know why I like this version? Because it just makes it so much easier to do goofy stuff. Because can't nobody see you doing it.
I agree.
What you doing, Jules? What you doing right now?
I'm eating something.
No, you're not.
You can't see me.
I heard every bit of the process. I'm like, okay. She about to eat. She eat. Doggone it. That girl eat. Didn't even ask me nothing. Offer me nothing up in this piece. It's okay. I got some Jell-O and some coffee I'm gonna have soon. So.
Anyway.
Yeah. So tonight's. I'm sorry. My wife. My beautiful assistant, she forgot about the coffee. She was like, man, hold on. See, you guys are sitting in so many different things. I'm trying to figure out if we're even going to ask these questions yet or if we're going to actually go into our show. Because we had to start a little late today because, we had some extra company in here. We didn't want you to hear the entire conversation because some of that conversation was privileged information and people would get in major trouble. So did not want to do that. So I was protecting the people who were talking, even though they were talking during the show. Showtime. Because I was like, yeah, let one of these things get out. Watch what happens. Someone's going to lose their job, and then, that would not be good. So, okay. So, anyway. Oh, man. So tonight, you guys, we have a really cool show lined up, and this is a variation on a few things that we've been working on for a while, but it continues in our stress and relationship series because, which I have to say is one of our more popular series that we've ever had, other than Guilt, Shame, and Recovery. Which,
well, it's also the longest.
Well, yeah, that's true. It is the longest. Thank you, Yahoo Group. That Yahoo group is funny. I just have to, every week I have to tell you how goofy they are. But they sent in more questions because they wanted us to do that show two weeks in a row. I told them that we could not do that. And they said, oh, then you can't use any of these questions because then you're going to have answers for them. So we'll send you questions when you're ready to do it again. But I told them, okay, we'll answer. We might do 2 of them at the end of the show. We'll see how this goes. But tonight, based on we sent out some surveys through our normal Yahoo group, and the surveys were asking about basically your relationship, the relationships you're in, and we were focusing these surveys. That's why there's 2 of them. We focused them on your romantic relationships and your close friendships. We're not talking about everybody you call friend, but we're talking about the ones who you actually consider to be your friend. And yes, there is a difference. Because, oh, we're friends. Yeah, we're friends. But yet you don't talk to the people. You don't think about the people. Except for when you guys are in the same vicinity, do they ever really come up? And then you don't trust them with information because you really don't know them like that. Those are just that's just your acquaintance that you call friends so they don't get their feelings hurt. Okay, but Excuse me, had to blow my nose. I laughed too hard. Anyway.
Or the ones that you just call up because you want to, your party friends.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. See, so one of the people that commented on this was talking about how friends should automatically know what subsection they're in your life, so that they know not to bother you when it has to do with anything else. That's going on, you know. And then you think about it, and you realize, if you think about it, you recognize that you have put people into subsections. But when you're just going throughout your everyday and you're just doing your thing, you don't really think about it consciously that this person is in a subsection in your life. They're not part of your, you don't consider them the person. Yeah, you're not considering them into your everything. They're just a part of your life. They're a player. They're but a player upon the stage, but they're not. Those poor people. They're in the the chorus. They're in the chorus line. Right, so but they're not really part of the, they're there for ambiance and stuff, and we all have that, man. We can be good friends to those people, but only in those situations, not in the situations where we are hurt. They're not the first people we think about when we need something. They're not the first people we think about. We need entertainment. They might be the first person we think about because that's what they tend to bring, or they bring only a certain amount of wisdom to a particular aspect of your life, so they're good for that. And so we were breaking these relationships and these categories down, which will be a different show because we can't do that all tonight. But I saw a lot, and especially when psychologists and coaches, two coaches and some therapists, everybody came in and just had so many opinions about why we keep these people in our lives, what purpose they serve, and why we call them friend when we don't treat them like friends. And I was like, this is just a very, so it's a very dynamic thing. So I've got a little bit more research going on to really bring that to you guys in a constructive way. And yes, Alice, we are only in audio today. We're not doing video because Google Plus or Google Hangouts is having issues. So we figured if you want to see both of us, look on our screen. That way you get to see both of us 2 times. But her comment was, oh, I like this. I like this better. It seems like it moves faster. It moves more fluidly than it does when I'm watching the screen jump back and forth. Yeah.
Well, cool.
Well, this is how we started out, really. We started doing radio, so this feels more natural, to be quite honest. It's just, to us, it feels more natural. But anyway, so tonight, you guys, we're going to talk about communication, how to communicate effectively during times when you are emotionally stressed out, hurt, disappointed, you feel betrayed, and you're talking to the person who's actually done these things to you. And so whether you're talking to your friend in your inner circle, or you're talking to your romantic interest, how do you talk to somebody who has hurt you, disappointed you, betrayed you in some way, shape, form, or fashion? But we're going to cut cheating out of this equation just for this conversation. There are other ways to be betrayed. So all y'all who are talking about, so they cheated on me and this is how I'm supposed to act. No, don't worry. But there's a whole different thing. There's a whole different way to deal with people who cheat on you, and I will explain that to you maybe at the end of this or whatever, because there is a positive way to deal with people who've cheated on you.
I need to learn that part.
Yeah. There is a very positive way.
Really? There's a positive way?
Yes. But you know what's funny? She's like, really? But the thing is it's hard for people to get past the hurt, the pain, the embarrassment. Because really, a big part of being cheated on is the embarrassment that comes with somebody cheating on you. And usually when you get cheated on, you're probably one of the last people to find out you got cheated on. So other people already know that you're being cheated on. And they still hanging out with you, talking to you like ain't nothing going on. But
that would bother me more. That those are people who I call friends, or they call me friend, and they don't tell me nothing.
Exactly, because it's status quo. It's like, well, it's not my business. I'm just here to hang out, And it's wow. I mean, like I remember when I got cheated on, right? I found out from from one of the girl I was seeing. I found it from her friend that she was considering, looking at other options, and I was like, why wouldn't she just break up then? And her response was, well, because she really likes you, she thinks you're great, and she thinks you have a really bright future and all that, but she wants to see if there's anybody else that can excite her before she makes a determination on what she really wants to do. So, oh yeah. So I said, well, anybody who recognizes who I am in their life knows enough to be honest with me to say, look, I don't think it's gonna work out, blah blah, and and then go do what you're gonna do. Don't add me into the equation as a standby, because I don't do standby well. So so she broke up with me, went after the person she thought she really wanted to be with. She came back trying to be with me, and I'd already met my wife.
Oh, really?
Yep. The week I was supposed to meet my wife was the week this one came back, and basically was telling me how much of a mistake they made. No one treats them like I do and cares as much as, blah blah, and just a bunch of stuff that you really want to hear, because it'll stroke your ego like a bug. But but it's but I mean, she came by, wanted to hang out, she wanted to get touchy-feely. She was trying, so I kept her at a physical distance. I even kept her emotionally distant, because she was trying to figure out. But she was chasing like I was a bone and she was a dog, because she did not want. And I told her that day, I said, actually, I have an opportunity to meet somebody. I really don't know them well, but I want to find out what could actually happen. She's like, but why risk when you have me? I said, being with you would be a risk. Until, but she realized her popularity tanked when she was no longer with me. The guy that, like I said, the guy she went after, he, it was just a bunch of, he never told her that she was beautiful or that she was anything. He never encouraged her. He just wanted to look at her. So, she got over. She realized she messed up big time. And then. What's so bad is the engagement ring I got for her, because her friend was honest with me. I think I gave it to her friend that she could. I don't think I'll keep it and give it to some other girl, So whatever.
Sell it.
No, it was cool. I mean, she was super happy, and then because I remember hearing the story from the friend. I know this is really sidetracking you guys, but I remember hearing the story from one of the other friends that she had that. I ran into like maybe 2 years later or something like that, where the one I gave the ring to ended up flashing it off to, I almost said her name, but I was started flashing it off to the one that I was really got the ring for. She's like, oh, look at this, Dion gave this to me. I was cracking up. I said, she did that? Well, they weren't friends no more.
Oh, really?
No. Because when the girl I was seeing made that move, the other girl's like, you know what, I can't be friends with you if you're gonna, because you have no strength of character, and I can't be with somebody who doesn't have strength of character. So I can't be friends with like that, because she said, because I looked up to you, because she was the girl I was saying, she has some really great attributes, and the girl that was her friend was, she looked up to her, but until she started recognizing that she had these characteristics that were not going to produce a positive relationship, and she wanted what she thought the relationship was between me and the other girl. So she's like, oh, you're the problem. so yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, so we'll cover cheating. You know what? That would probably be a show all by itself, because we try to do at least one cheating show a year, because it takes up so much time going through all the cheating scenarios, because there are a lot of cheating scenarios. There's some new ones out, by the way.
Really?
So I have a list being compiled about the new ways of cheating and how to get away with cheating, and how social media has found a way to help people catch the cheater, and there's just so many things. So not only will you hear about how people are doing what they're doing, but how to catch them in the act. And this time we're gonna do like Yahoo suggested and keep it 100. Usually I say, I'm not gonna tell you that one because but no. Since I've lost my man card several years ago on our own show. Then I'm just gonna tell everybody just how it really happens, how it really goes down. Tina is saying, can we just do that right now? Can we do that? That's not what it says on our thing, Tina. So we can't really just jump into that because then people go look up this topic and be like, how did we start talking about cheating? I was looking to learn how to communicate. So
it'll come up very soon.
It will. It most definitely will, especially with some of the stuff I've heard lately. Oh, it most definitely will come up. So, because, you know, I'm on my venting spree. So y'all just watch out. So, hey, we used to have, on our radio show, we used to have the section so I could just say what was on my mind without any format issues. We're about to bring that back. So, oh yeah, what's going on? That was the section, Dave. That was what it was called. What's going on? So let's talk about relationships. Let's talk about, and we're going to start off with friends because we tend to look at our friendships as somewhat of an example of what we're looking for in our romantic relationships, and especially because without people even really thinking about it, for some reason they say, I want somebody who can be my best friend. That's what they say when they want to be in a relationship. Then the moment they get into that relationship, they're like, well, I can't talk to them about that because we're really not friends. You know, we're just seeing each other.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I was waiting for that. I actually had that planned. I knew you were going to have me. But there are husbands and wives right now who will tell you that they're not really friends. They go see their friends, but they're just a husband or they're just a wife.
That's so sad.
Because they don't know how to allow the person who is their spouse to be their friend because they have predetermined
notions of what a husband or wife should be.
Yeah, somebody put up here filters for them. You know, because you can say things to your friends that you can't say to your spouse. You can say things to your spouse that you will not say to your friends. You can talk to your friends about. I'm reading. So you can talk to your friends about sex and about what works, what doesn't, what feels good, what doesn't, what you like and what you don't like. All these good things. You can get into great detail with your friends, but you can't do that with your spouse because they take everything you say personal. If your friend asks you who the best is, they'll.
Oh. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. But if your spouse, it's you. It's always you. It's only you.
Only one answer.
Only you. You know. So you know, so there's this great divide that happens between friends and spouses and stuff like that. But it's not supposed to be a great divide. Now, true. I was telling a family member of mine recently because I was going through that last question with who was the best and blah blah, right? I was asking one of my family members. I said, when you were in the dating world and stuff like that, did men often ask you if they were the best that you'd ever had? She said, well, no, I used to tell them straight up front, don't ask questions you don't want the answers to. She's like, because I'm not going to lie for nobody. She said, I don't fake, I don't lie, I just tell it out on TIS. So don't ask me a question that you don't want the answer to. What you should understand is that I'm with you, and that should be enough.
Mm-hmm. Right on. Touché.
But for all you men who feel like you have the guts to go for the goal, you know what? Ask the question and ask it to an honest woman. Mm-hmm. Oh man, don't do that, y'all. Y'all self-esteem will just tank, and just like women started asking that question over the last 3 to 4 years too.
Well, unless they want to learn and get better.
Women
right?
Women. Well.
Well.
Okay. See, men will get an ego. Will get a hit to the ego. And then they do like they do in the club, bounce right back. So you want to go out? Like, hey, well, you don't want to dance. Your friend want to dance? Like that, right? Like they'll get an ego hit, but then they will come back so determined to either kill you in the process, or kill it. They will kill it, kill you, kill something. Something's gonna die. Either they gonna die or something's gonna happen. But they, because men will go out and do dumb things to prove their manhood. Okay. That will also come up in a different show because there are some dumb things people are doing right now. This is like a show that previews all the upcoming episodes. But now that I think about it, but there's some really crazy things that are going on out there right now, and I can't stop smiling because some of these things, when you read them, you're like, this is made up. They didn't do that. Did they do that? They did that. Dang. You know, they were desperate. But I'll tell you one that I read real quick because I was like, no way. There was a guy who was told that, you know, he had a issue with not being able to last long enough to please, you know, the woman he was with happened to be his wife. So he did some research and found that there are some places, there's a place that people can go in a different country where they will allow you to practice with sheep until you can sustain
Oh my God. Holy what?
People are pimping out sheep.
What the crap?
I was like, no way. But the story was written from the point of view of the woman said, but he did get better and it did last longer because he had
my God.
I was like, no.
His penis was inside of a sheep and now it's in you? Ew.
I'm sure there was lambskin protection. Lambskin condom on.
Oh my God.
Technically, he had the whole lamb on.
Did the sheep have consent?
Well, you know, he was being pimped, so. You know, like I've heard stories like this long time ago, and when people were talking about, you know, just jokes. I thought they were just jokes, and then I found out that some people really are into this kind of thing. But I had never heard about somebody using it as a solution to premature ejaculation. That I know, because the simplest solution to that is wear 2 or 3 condoms at the same time. That's the simple solution.
Hold on, but why sheep?
Because it feels the most human, and it can happen over and over and over again. So you can practice as much as you need to without disappointing your lover, apparently. So because the thing is about premature for a lot of people is once you've done it enough times, you're used to the sensations and you've learned to control you've learned to control it. But there are some guys whose self-esteem gets beat up so bad, you know, just on the real, they get beat up so bad by the woman they're seeing because they have that disappointed face or they make these little snide remarks and they're you know, whatever. They don't understand the mechanics of why this happens to men. They don't care. You know, for the most part, it's just like, oh, okay, whatever. And so if it happens too often, then you know, you get this. Men start looking for solutions to solve the problem because they don't want to lose the one they with. They don't want to disappoint the one they with, and they want a way to fix it. And a lot of men don't even want to go to a doctor and say I'm having this problem but sometimes it's a medical issue. Sometimes it's just sometimes it can be a mental issue that causes it. Sometimes it can be as simple as getting the first 2 or 3 out the way. You know, it just depends on the guy. But nobody really talks about it. And it's definitely not something people even talk about in their bedroom, because if a girl says, "Oh, that was quick," then what's he supposed to think? You know, how is he supposed to respond? And then if she said, I mean, can you think of a phrase, Jules, that would actually come out that would sound encouraging at all, other than just to lie straight up, just lie?
After what? After a quick encounter?
Yeah, after it went real quick. Can you think of one that would just say that would, you know, make him feel confident, and yet you didn't get anything that you needed out of the equation?
What if you just, you know, very nicely, very coyly, let's do that again. I love you so much, let's do that again.
Oh, Jacqueline. Okay, so Jacqueline's asking, how do you respond to that? Because I'm in a situation that is somewhat like that. Okay, so let's talk communication. See, when we talk to our friends, we have the depending on how close these friends are, is how we choose our filters, right? We choose our filters based on the severity, the closeness of our friendship. So if I say to a complete, to somebody who's newly friended me, not on Facebook, y'all, I mean actually people, okay, in person, then I can say things like, and I can't say things like, wow, that skirt is way too short and your breath is humming. Like I can't do that because they, because I'd probably wrap that whole thing up with, so you really just a stanky hoe. My friends would laugh and be like, yeah, coffee, and I like short skirts. Where the other one would be so, they just wouldn't react well to it. A lot of people, when it comes down to having discussions with their, but suppose you are disappointed by one of your friends, how much will you deal with in terms of disappointment before you tell your friends how disappointed you are? Do you just go right out and say, like, friends that you just met, you're quicker to tell them, oh, I'm so disappointed, because they're new. So if they're gone, it doesn't really change your life. They're new, right? But when it's those good friends, those ones that you are like, you're like, oh well, I'll just let that one go, or I'll just let that one go. You don't communicate it as readily because you don't want to hurt them. You don't want to, you don't want to say something that could cost you this thing that's valuable to you. Same thing happens in the bedroom when it comes down to spouses. They, often but yet your friends will pick it up in your body language or in your attitude sooner or later. If they know you well enough, then they'll start to notice, hey, something's different about the way you're, are around me. What's going on? Blah blah. Same thing with your spouse. They after a while you could do that. Hey, let's do that again a couple times. But after a while they'll pick up on the pattern of, wait, is this something that's really real, or what's going on? Because your face eventually tells on you. Your body tells on you. Because after a while, what happens for women who are with men who have this particular issue, they're not excited about the opportunity. They're not excited about getting together as much as they used to be. Because they feel like, well, it's not going to last, so I'm going to go through all this. I'm going to go through all, and I've heard this statement before. I'm going to go through all the stress of. I'm going to go through all the work, not stress, the work of getting undressed, so that I can be here and pretend that I'm having a good time for all of 3 minutes. And then what? Get up and go make dinner? So Janice, Jacqueline, and Savina. Oh, that's nice. Savina. That sounds like a character name. But basically, you guys are all saying the same thing, which is, well, how do we deal with that and at the same time keep it healthy and normal, and so it doesn't affect the relationship. And then but Savina's thing, well, what woman who's been active has not had that situation happen where it just ended so quickly you wonder why you even bother getting undressed?
Ouch.
Oh, she's cracking me up. she's like, I can't believe I took jeans off for this. If it had been a skirt, that'd have been different.
Oh my god.
This is what happens, huh? This is what y'all be thinking? Hold on. Oh, I had so many things in my head at the same time. I gotta pick one. Okay. So to answer your question, there's really, to be honest, there isn't one specific way to deal with this kind of issue when you're talking to somebody who's suffering from a particular issue. It's kind of like how if a woman is unable to produce wetness and the lubes that are out there don't work for her, right? Because they can irritate her skin, or they can, cause her to feel like she's on fire from the inside out. And a lot of lubes are actually having that issue with people right now. Oh yeah. So, and then some people get flaking after that, after the whole, because now that lube is now flaking and coming in and all that stuff. So, because everybody's skin chemistry can be different. So, and then going through the process of finding out which one works for you. Do you know how many are out there on the market? It's just crazy. So,
but I have a question.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
if the man, is a 1 minute man or 3 minute man or whatever, um, wouldn't they know?
No, because sometimes it only happens with it can happen with like there are studies and there are stories with guys who with one person can last forever and then another person it doesn't last as long. There are times like a guy can last a long time before they get married and then after they get married it doesn't last as long.
But
You
what
know.
I'm saying is, but wouldn't that guy know that that's, the woman that he's with,
No, because some
especially.
women, okay, like some women, if you can last a minute and a half, can be super sensitive and super orgasmic. If you're coming from a woman like that, then into somebody who takes like a half hour to get there, then that whole your whole mind has been blown. So um, you're not thinking about oh I lasted this short amount of time. What you're thinking is oh she's satisfied, and
But
that's
no, but wouldn't the guy know?
if she's not satisfied or if he's just
Yeah,
lasting a short. If she's not satisfied, no, because women fake satisfaction quicker than they
in
are.
a minute.
Yes. Oh, girl. You technically. Hold on. Let me figure out how to say this correctly. Um, technically, you can cause somebody to get there in 30 seconds. So if you can last a good 3 minutes, then that's fine. But the average amount of time in intercourse, I'm talking about anything else, but just intercourse. Average time for most countries for actual intercourse to last is anywhere between 7 and 15 minutes. And in that
Well,
and in that 7 and 15 minute period, you can some women can have 3 to 4.
multiple, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, wouldn't the man want, like, I don't know. I would think that the guy would ask the woman, did you get there, or
Okay. Let's play this out. So suppose you're the guy, right? Take on the mentality of men that you know. Well, no, forget that. Take on the mentality of the man that you would be. Okay, if you were. No, wait.
Pick one.
I just thought about it. She'd be like, yeah. Uh-huh.
How you like me now?
She'd probably be doing a dance after. Like, oh man, so many things I was gonna say and I can't say on this show. Well, just think like a man, okay? Like, so you just got through with the experience, and it wasn't your personal best, right? But at the same time, you're hearing all the heavy breathing, you're hearing all the excitement, and like it was just mind blowing, right? So now, if I come to you, so what do you, what is your mindset going to be if I turn around and tell you, yeah, it just didn't happen for me.
Well, it depends on how it's said. If the
How many
woman
ways
says
can
it
you
like,
say? How many ways can you say it didn't happen for me? If he asks her, okay, so if someone asks you, so did you get yours? Did you get there? How do you answer that question? How would you answer that question?
if it's no, if it's a no, I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Right. So how are you going to answer that and still say it nicely? It's such an
Just
intimate
say
situation. Uh-huh.
no, but that's okay.
Oh my God. You might as well be petting his penis. Like, it's okay.
No, but it's okay.
No, but it's okay. Oh my God,
Because I don't know. I mean,
Andrew just said, "What kind of is this?" I know I had to bleep myself out.
what?
Oh man. Oh.
As in, I mean, because I don't know. Maybe if does every woman always get there every single time? I don't think so.
No. Well, no. Hold on. No. I'm gonna leave it at that. No.
Yeah.
but if you've been like technically this guy could have been with like 7, 8 women or whatever, and they all lied to him. Then finally somebody comes along and says, "No, I didn't get there." Then how's he gonna process that? Because he's going off of his championship streak. You see what I'm saying?
Well, get off your high horse and learn.
And Toby, oh man. Okay, hold on. Toby said first she's petting it and now she's ripping it off. Correct. Oh.
I'm just being honest.
Oh. Toby's like, if you ever date this one, don't ask her anything. Just nod and say, I'll do better. It doesn't matter. He said it doesn't matter how good or how bad you were. It doesn't matter if she got there or not. Just nod and say, I'll do better next time. Hilarious. Oh, my God. Oh.
I like that.
You would. Oh, man. Do we recommend? See, this is not even what the show's supposed to be about. We get a lot of questions though. Let's see if I can somehow. Let's see if we can somehow merge this into what the show's supposed to be about. But that was hilarious. But when communicating, Gina's like, no, we're still on topic. Like you're our producer. No, we're still on topic because we're still talking about how to communicate hard to communicate things. So,
agreed.
Yeah. But the thing, okay, first off, when you lie to somebody to protect their feelings, one of the hardest things is to not use that lie, not to admit that you were lying to them when you're mad at them, right? Some people will use these things. That's what I'm a personal believer in being honest in the bedroom so that the bedroom stuff doesn't come out at the wrong time. Mm-hmm. Right? Because men have been known to do this to women a lot, and women have been known to do this to men a lot. So women, they dirty fighters. So men started getting dirtier, and it just keeps escalating. Now most of those conversations are in rap songs. Excuse me, y'all have me cracking up over here. So let's get back to the how we talk to our friends, right? So when we talk to, I'm glad I scheduled this for 2 hours because y'all killing me right now. So when you talk to your friends and you're talking about I don't know, anything that, like, suppose you're emotionally charged up, one of your friends just let's see. Let's pick a good one. Something I've heard about recently. So, Jules, one of your friends just, scratched your car, didn't tell you about it, and now they're now they're, and they've started dating your brother and didn't tell you. Right?
Oh, hell no.
Both these things are happening at the same time. Both these things happened at the same time.
Is the same friend?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, no. That is no.
Okay. So now
that friend needs to learn a lesson.
But they've been such a good friend to you all these years, and this, that, and the other. So they're now in that place where they're taking privileges with things that belong to you. Like they're helping themselves to things that belong to you, even though technically your brother doesn't belong to you, but you know what
he does.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
He's my property.
So, but you don't find out from your friend. So you find out from somebody else who knows what's going on.
See, but that would be so out of character. So, like,
pick up the role. Pick up the role and go with it.
Fine.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Use what you know about your friends, but then put this personality in them. Use your personality to figure out how you would deal with the situation. You see what I'm saying?
I wouldn't be friends with them, but okay.
But they're such good. No, God, my God. Go ahead.
No, if they were such good friends, they wouldn't do this kind of crap.
How do you know they didn't have a weak moment? How do you know they weren't afraid to tell you?
About my brother?
Yeah, how do you know they weren't just afraid that you would not approve?
Because I wouldn't. So
right.
Don't do it.
Wait, but so you're going to control the love they feel? You're a little controlling.
There's a 10-year gap. No.
When has that... Wait. When has 10 years meant anything nowadays in relationships?
It does to me, my brother.
You know you're not gonna win this one. You know that, right?
I know, but I don't care. I'm gonna stick with my answer. It's my brother, and I don't care.
It's not all ghetto
Hands
now.
off, paws off, claws off. No.
That's
I do
why.
have a friend who always jokes around and says, "Oh, your brother's so cute. He's such a little hottie." Blah 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 blah. She's married, by the way, and
Uh-huh.
so I know nothing is ever gonna come of anything for sure. And he neither. She's not my brother's type anyway. But it still gets me upset. So I tell her to stop it. She knows it gets me upset, so she plays around with that. But
Exactly.
I know. But will anybody ever go to the distance?
That's just not what we're talking about.
Oh.
What we're talking about is how will you react to your friend trying to maintain the friendship? What do you say to your friend? And then, because I didn't make it as severe as it could have been, because the story I actually heard, she walked in and they were kissing on her couch.
Oh,
So,
hell no.
See, but I wanted to maintain some of your focus.
Oh, hell no.
See, come back and focus.
Okay, sorry. I'm here. I'm focused. Okay.
Maggie's like, please wait. Maggie's like, please tell us what the real story is. Well, that's basically the whole story, Maggie, except for they were kissing on the couch, and when she found out, she noticed she had a scratch on her car, and she didn't know where the scratch came from. And the only person who had her car, she had loaned her car to, was her friend, because she was going to be out of town for a little while. So she said, hey, you can drive my car, just make sure you keep gas in it. The usual things you tell your friend.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, right? But then she comes home, and and she was supposed to get picked up by her friend in her car from the airport. Her friend forgot because she was at her
The house business making out with the brother.
Making out the brother, and when she walks into her front door, his hand is up her shirt. So she was none too happy. None too happy. And
they're both running my fist. Uh-huh.
And I had to ask, why was I the first person you called? So Maggie says,
my first reaction would be all bad. I would see red, and that's not a good thing when I see red.
But they're adults.
I don't care. And you're an adult. You can pay for my car damage.
Yeah.
The fact that you lied, you did not pick me up, and you completely disregarded the friendship duties, which you have complied, and instead you are now picking up with my younger brother.
Yeah. Now, is there a way to have a positive outcome in that situation?
Not really. Sorry. I'm seeing red right now. Sorry. All I see are my fists running into their faces. So.
Like a little balloon on the other rubber band.
Yep. Tybo style.
Wow. You are. I'm listening to some of these responses come in, and Jeremy says maybe we should ask somebody else. Jeremy, this is all I got, man. Oh man. Well,
okay. So then, after the red subsides, eventually it will subside.
Wait. Will they be breathing?
I don't know.
See, because after the red subsides,
eventually they'll be breathing.
She would have hit their chest enough to stop their heart and started again a couple times. Don't you die on me? I ain't done with you yet. Wow. Oh man.
Well, first, I would, more so than my brother, which I will deal with him later, I would have to talk to my friend.
Go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
He's not an adult. Anyway, I would have to sit her down and really have a conversation with her and let her know how, A, disappointed I am on so many levels, B, she's paying for the damage to my car, and C,
like,
what are your plans? What are your plans with my brother? Are you guys getting married?
Wait, wait.
No, but are those your intentions in the long run, or are you just making out and having fun and fooling around just for the time being? Because then, if that's the case, get out.
But if she says the other thing and means the first thing,
What means the first thing?
oh, basically, if she says, "Oh, I really just see building a great future with him. I can see him being my husband one day," but then really, you know her personality.
Uh-huh.
You know that she likes to play more so
Oh,
than
then no.
stay. But isn't that really your brother's decision?
Yeah, and I will also tell him no.
Jeremy says, "Shouldn't we do it?" He says, "Shouldn't we? No, sorry, you guys do a show on Jules's control issues."
Jeremy, what control issues?
I didn't tell you to say nothing about control issues. Wow. Oh my goodness. Oh, you got me sweating in here. I'm laughing so hard. I'm losing weight right now. That is hilarious. Okay, we're gonna move past this one because this was an epic fail. So we're gonna go because the idea is, people, when you're in situations that are very, very volatile, okay, where it's not volatile because of what happened. It's volatile because of who's involved. That's usually what escalates things. Like if you're disappointed in one of your friends, let's do something a little lighter because we want Jules back. Okay, so Jules, if you are upset, you're disappointed, and it's because of something your friend said, did do, or did not do. Usually with women, it's usually because of something that was said and you get something they did not do. Okay, suppose that you're upset. You've been upset for a while, but your friend never noticed that you were upset.
Oh, I
How?
had this happen before.
Okay, and
One,
how did?
one, one real particular incident comes to mind with a really good friend of mine.
Mhm.
And she basically jokingly had said something because at the time, she was living far away from me. And, we were best friends since like forever long ago, or like really good friends. And so she wanted to, still have that closeness and the vicinity, closeness in vicinity.
Uh-huh.
And so, and she, very well knew that I was pursuing what I was pursuing, and hence I needed to be in LA. But she basically was saying like, oh, it'll be so much fun if you moved, and you can move up here, and then you can live. We'll turn our garage into like a room. She basically was making like a Friends reference where Monica and Chandler buys a house, and then they turn the garage into like a room apartment type thing for Joey. That's in the talks or whatever. Anyway, so she was making that reference, and you know, basically saying that I should do that. I should move up there, and I could also be their nanny, and I will live there for free. I, and this was not done over the phone conversation or anything like that. It was done over IM or text or something.
Right.
So through another medium. And so when I read it, I was so hot. I didn't even know how to respond, so I didn't. Because anything that came out of my mouth at that point would have been really bad. So I sat on it for a while, for a couple of days, because I didn't know, am I overreacting, or was that really disrespectful, or, was that just really out of line, did she not completely not even notice, like, did she mean it that way? Did she, I was like going through all these scenarios in my head. Wasn't getting any answers. And so I talked to my other friend. I was like, this is what happened. I'm really upset. Am I in the right to be upset? Or am I being blowing up something that I shouldn't? And, the only solution was talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to confront her and talk to her, because this was something that really pissed me off. And over our decade of, plural of friendship, I didn't want to have that one comment, ruin our friendship. And so I, was like, hey, I called her up actually and was like, hey, the thing that you said to me the other day? And she didn't even know. She didn't even remember. It was completely oblivious to it. It just fell out of her mouth like diarrhea. So, and then when I told her how upset it got me, or it made me, and how the way that it came out, it seem like subconsciously what I do or what I'm pursuing, you believe that it will never happen, and you don't believe in me. And all these subconscious thoughts is what I went straight to um, with her whole scenario. And she's like, no, that's not what I was thinking at all. That's not how I meant it at all. You know, miscommunication, blah, 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 blah. And I was still a little bitter for a little while, but I had to let it go and forgive her and then accept her apology and make amends because our friendship was meant, you know, it meant so much more than that. And I know from her character, from the years of friendship that we had, she's not the type, she would support me. She has supported me. And so, you know, regardless of whether or not she understood it or, you know, what that was the first thing that she wanted for me, but whatever decision I made, she supported me in that in the past, and she still does now. It was just that one moment of, I guess, loneliness or weakness or whatever of wanting a friend next to her that that came out of her mouth. And so understanding that, I was able to make amends and forgive her and totally move past it. But have I forgotten about it? Not really. But
yeah, I can hear. Yeah, we hear that. We hear that.
Yeah. Now talking about it still pisses me off now, but I know that, you know, that's not her intentions, and so I had to learn to move on and forgive. But yeah, I did confront. And sometimes I think it's better to confront it and then have it out of the way than constantly eat at you, because then you're always just gonna put your own assumptions and your own perceptions and your own twist or thoughts, or your imagination just goes wild with, you know, and just progresses and it gets worse and worse on tangents. So yeah, confrontation is better.
Melee, I'm going to try this. I hope I said that right. Melee says that this is something that happens a lot when girls, you know, talk about when girls talk, and about how, you see, I know there's a language thing here, but basically, I think what she's saying is that this happens a lot with girls because they don't ask what you mean right when something hits you, you know, wrong and stuff like that. They usually wait until they can think it out themselves, and then when they don't come to an answer, then
yeah.
then it turns into that hot ball of mess. And then saliva, saliva, but
Saliva?
no, saliva says.
Saliva.
Yeah, says that's a unique
That's
name.
pretty.
Yeah, it really is. She's okay. She says, "I understand." Wait, why did I switch how I talk? I understand. That was so funny. It's the actor in me, y'all. Just roll with it. I don't know who's coming out from moment to moment. She says, "I understand what you are saying, but if you were the offender, do you think that people would feel confident in coming to you when they are hurt by things you say, do, or don't do? Because if I were your friend, I don't think I would feel confident in coming to you when my feelings have been hurt by you."
Why?
I was going to ask the same question, girl.
Because I have been confronted many times with things that I do wrong. Because I always make mistakes.
I believe that wholeheartedly.
Hey, now. But yeah, I've had issues with, you know, people telling me or my friends telling me. One, I mean, it hasn't happened lately because I've gotten better at it, but one major one was I was always late, and you know, I had an issue with timing, and you know, it's beyond Korean time, and so because Korean time usually is about 30 minutes or so around there.
That's same as CPT, colored people time. That's same.
Yeah. I try to make a grand entrance apparently, and sometimes like I had a very hard time understanding time. And
Amen.
how certain things take certain amount of time, and I try to do too much in a short period of time, and it never works out. And so I would be like an hour late or something, and they'll call me when I was supposed to already be there, and I'd be like, oh, I'm on my way, I'm on the freeway, and I'm just leaving my house. I've had that happen before, and I got reprimanded a lot by my friends, and I stopped doing it. Not like that, but at most I'll be, if I am late, I will give them plenty notice that I am running late, or
That
I
is
try
true.
to,
That is very true.
and I try my best to make it on time as much as possible, especially important things. um, Another thing, this was something that also brought to my attention by another friend of mine, that in the for a while there, this was a while ago, like 4 years ago or so, I would make so many different plans and forget that I made those plans, and so I will make other plans. And then so when the original plan comes up, I'm like, oh, and I'm torn because I made plan A, plan B, and plan C without realizing, oh, it's all on the same day. And so that was another big issue of mine. And now I have my smartphone where I keep a calendar.
Y'all can thank my wife for that one. No,
So
really, y'all thank her. No, go ahead.
yeah. So yeah, a lot of people, a lot of my friends, the ones that trust me, the ones that I've gone through a lot of things with, my acquaintances, I guess they don't really know me too well, so they don't say anything, and I don't really say anything to them because it doesn't really matter. But my close friends, they do tell me, and I do tell them, and because we want the best for each other, and we want the relationship to grow and flourish. Those important things that constantly get brought up, they need to be dealt with, and if you don't bring them up in conversation, it will never get dealt with, and it won't ever be given the attention that it needs so that it gets fixed. So, yeah.
Okay, her answer to why was basically, I'm gonna shorten this because this was kind of long.
Mm-hmm.
Is that she had a friend that you kind of remind her of, and her friend was strong and very liked by many, and she was a good person, good friend, but basically. Our girl, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that name again, but she was, her friend forgot her birthday, and she was hurt,
Mm-hmm.
and you know how we get sometimes, sometimes you just need that extra confirmation that you're important to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So she forgot her birthday and all that kind of stuff, and then she went to tell her that I'm hurt because you forgot my birthday, and other little things because there's a list of things that she forgot apparently. But by the end of it, her friend basically said, "Oh, you're blowing it way out of proportion. That's stupid. Basically, that we'll find it's done or whatever." And now I see. I don't even want to try saying her name again because when Jules said saliva, that's all I hear in my head now. Thanks a lot.
Saliva.
Saliva. So. I just didn't want to do that to you. But Saliva said that it really hurt her because it made her feel like she really wasn't that, like her feelings didn't matter.
Right.
And she's one of those people who needs to express it until it's all the way out. So, well, you know what, Saliva, to be honest, there are a lot of people who are really who need to talk their way through their emotions, right? And they need to describe them and take you on the journey with when it comes down to that, because they want you to experience what they were experiencing, or they need a way to make sure they need confirmation. What you described is you need confirmation that they understand how you feel, not just in word, but in body language and all that kind of stuff. A lot of people are really good when you talk about your friend. She's probably really good at just saying the things, and she means them when she says them, probably. But the thing is that her body language doesn't reflect what she's saying, and that's a big problem that a lot of people have. Like, you ever seen that person says, "Oh, I'm sorry," but their body language says, "Is this over? Is this done? Are we cool?"
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Well, what it sounds like though is that her friend didn't even care. She wasn't even sorry. That she was just like, you're blowing it way out of proportion. It wasn't even like that. So she was more on the defensive.
Well, I think it was more of one of those things where, like, earlier in this thing, you know, her friend said sorry, but it wasn't the degree of understanding that I think Saliva was looking for, because it wasn't like she, you know, was trying to sleep with her brother or anything, you know. It was just one of those things like, I forgot, I'm sorry, you know, we can move past, let's move past, you know, whatever. And so the question, Saliva, is, but what makes you, you know, in your understanding or your perception of the way Jules does things, what would make you, you know, compare Jules to your friend? I think that's the question we were really trying to get.
Yeah.
we got the smiley face and the, oh, because it doesn't seem like you would take too long on any one thing when you're ready to move on to the next thing.
No.
Mm-hmm.
When it's important, I give it my full attention. For as long as it needs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or she have a really hard time with people in general. Just in general. Because, you know, the entertainment industry, although it's very cutthroat, whatever, it's also very emotional. Mm-hmm. So people have it, you know, whatever.
And, you know, as the persona that gets personified or gets expressed on the show, it seems like you know, maybe I mean, I don't cry on the show or anything like that, but I am a very emotional person. Yes. I do cry, and I do whine, and I do, you know, get flustered, and I do get frustrated, and I get very angry. I do have the expressions or feelings of the rainbow. I just don't necessarily portray them all on the show, unless, you know, maybe we'll do like an acting segment or something, and maybe I have the chance to do that. But, you know, the point of this show is to not take you to all of my emotional journeys, but to help other people grow from or get out of where they're at as far as the darker places. So I don't want to necessarily show you or go there with my own personal, although I have in the past. So I try to make it more. It's not really a conscious effort that it comes out that way, because part of my personality too is that once I've moved past it, then I move past it. But when I'm in it, so usually when I'm doing the show, I've already moved past it. But when I'm in it, I'm in a very vulnerable place, and I do get very emotional. So if it's something that I'm going through currently, I will probably not be able to talk about it on the show, only because I will fall apart. You don't want to see that. So yeah.
Catalina says, well, Jules just answered that question, but her question was, since I said your name, Catalina, her question was, why not show us all the varying degrees of. You tried to get too creative, Catalina. Okay, she said, why not show all the varying degrees of the rainbow when it comes down to your personality? I know she was stuck between two descriptions. I know you were, girl. It's okay. It's okay. But why not show all those things? You know, when it comes down to doing what we do, we are asked a lot of the time to be very exposed, and you know, well, we are asked to be, and we choose to be, you know, very exposed to the general public when it comes down to our life stories, the things we go through, things like that. But sometimes, just like you, when you're going through a personal thing that you have to work out, you don't want everybody in the middle of you working things out. And then sometimes, like for me, I used to tell people, and I said this to somebody yesterday when my dog when I was at PetSmart, that I feel like at times that what we do, we are basically living in a glass shelter. So everybody can see almost everything that goes on in our lives, except for this one little private area where we can, you know, develop as people. If we're always developing in front of people, then there's nothing new to teach you, because you've watched us do the entire thing. And then when we tell you these stories about our lives and how, you know, like some of the stuff that we've gone through are so tragic and so it just beats you up, You know, that it's better when you hear it on this side of it than you hear us go through it, because you would have heard back then. You'd have heard the D that says, you know what, women suck, and they all just play games, and there's no reason to even try to give them any hope of time or attention. Just do what you want, and because they're going to leave you and treat you like trash anyway. See, you didn't want that version of me, because, you know, I would have been promoting negative behavior because I was in a very negative mindset. Versus, and true, that was like, you know, when I was 19 or something, and my heart was being hurt over and over again by people that I was being good to. You know, you wouldn't want to talk to that guy. You'd probably put him on a reality show, though. Huh?
Please don't do a reality show.
You put him. Hey, that version of the old me, he'd have been great for reality TV. I'd have been so controversial because I had opinions about everything, and I knew I was right. And that's all you need to be in a reality show. It doesn't have to be the right. It doesn't have to be right. You just have to know you're right about whatever you think. So yeah. So so the personas that you hear are us, but they are the just like if I'm having a bad day, you'll hear me say, "Look, you know, I'm not having the best day, you know, but I've learned to be positive even in my bad days." But that takes going through certain things. The persona that you guys have of Jules, which I'm sitting here reading and listening to right now, is really interesting to me because you guys have all tapped into like one thing. It's never a whole compilation of all these qualities make up the one person. You guys like zero in on the part that strikes you, which I think is like, it's great as an actor, you know, to be striking, to get people's attention and all that kind of stuff right away. But you have to remember that unlike the characters that she portrays, you know, Jules is actually a whole person. The actor, you know, the roles, when you do a role, these roles only have as much life to them as the writing says they need to have. So they don't. So and everything else comes from you, and they only want certain parts of you in that role. But you guys have broken Jules down to a character, and you guys are saying, nope, this is who she is based on, you know, the way she handles situations. But one thing everybody has in common, which I think is really funny, is that no matter what they say, like, but you're gorgeous though. I love your spirit. Let's see. You know what? See, I'm gonna get this app on my phone that allows you to just take people's, so you guys can send your questions in earlier, and then I can randomly, because it actually randomizes the list, and then I just pull the question out because that'll make it so much easier. I just gave you a bunch of information you didn't need. Okay, so
yeah, I was like, what?
Shut up. I was thinking out loud because I was sitting here like, okay, which question? Okay, so when it comes to communicating, how do you guys deal with each other how do you guys deal with each other? Is there a difference in how you communicate when it's the business thing, or, you know, versus the friend thing, versus the older brother, little sister thing, versus the coaching thing? Are there different languages that are spoken between them? And how do you know when, or how to approach a situation, being that everything you guys do is so intertwined? How do you guys basically deal with when you guys hurt each other, which I'm sure you do if you're that intertwined? Mm-hmm. Give an example of the last time you felt hurt by the other. You know what? This writing style looks familiar. Hold on. Yeah. I knew it. Okay. I'm not even going to call your name out because you know you'd be wrong. Okay. Oh. Sorry, that was just personal. I'm sorry. Cool. Y'all so lucky this camera's off right now. But anyway, they were like, D is crazy. Okay, let's answer the communication styles first. I knew as soon as I saw languages that it was a therapist. Okay, so, but, okay, so with the languages, of course, when you are working, you know, there's a work language. Now, Jules and our work language is a little
different.
It's a little different, right? And one thing I do when I talk to Jules, more so than with other people that I do business with, is I am I am much more aware than I of what's coming out of my mouth than I am with other people. But but I was thinking about this the other day too, because I was working on a communication workshop, and I'm more aware because I want to convey and say the thing that I want understood in that dynamic versus saying something that might be by accidentally, because we do so many different things together, that it might bleed into something else. So I don't want something that I'm going to say in business to blend into something that would probably be personal, because the wording could, blend them that way. And when I first met Jules, when I first started working with Jules, and I don't think I ever got rid of it. Like, now our relationship is really cool, where I could probably, drop the filter that I used to have. But when I first started working with Jules, I built that filter specifically for Jules, because with my other artists that I was working with at the time, completely different conversations, right? But Jules was a much different kind of artist, and I built a very specific filter, and I don't think I ever learned how to drop that one. But now that I think about it, that's a very good question. Thank you. But when we do like business versus personal versus coaching and all that kind of stuff, there is a slightly different tone to each, but I think we blend into them without even thinking about it much, and because we can switch places without even thinking about it.
Well, that, and we always, for the most part, in one conversation, we've covered all of those grounds.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we go from business to casual to personal to business, back to what are we gonna eat for lunch, to, I mean, it's all done in one conversation. So sometimes there's really not a whole lot of variation. But I agree with what Dee said about as far as tone. For me personally, I've also just noticed this about myself just now, in hindsight, when it comes to business, I'm very like cutthroat, or not cutthroat. That's not the right word.
She's sharp with it.
Yeah, just very concise and quick decisions. Let's go. What are the consequences? What are the benefits? What are the costs? Boom, boom, boom. Let's get it done with and dealt with. Done. Move on to the next. When it comes to our personal relationships or personal going throughs or events in our personal lives, definitely more time into that. Asking more questions about, well, what about this, or what about that? Like, how did that happen? Or, oh, are you okay? Or blah, blah. We are more trying to understand and find solutions and, cope with and sympathetic to, the other person's. Because basically whatever happens to me affects him and vice versa, because we're so intertwined in our lives as far as in personal as well as business, that, like, for instance, if a tragic thing happens in my life, or somebody's family member, and a financial crazy crisis, it's gonna affect INNERMIX, and vice versa. Something tragic happens in Dion's family, one of his kids gets sick, it's gonna affect me in INNERMIX, because we're that intertwined as far as our schedules, our times, our efforts, where we put our blood, sweat, and tears into, our attention to at the time, money, all of that. So, and because of that, I think that's why our conversation just flows from one to the next so easily, without a whole lot of hiccups, or without a whole lot of like, let's change hats now. Like, it's not like a very conscious thing that we do when it comes to changing hats. But yeah.
That's very true. And that's how come we say that INNERMIX is kind of like a living, breathing thing, because every movement, like one day Jules will get married, that will affect, the dynamic of what INNERMIX does in a way, because, it's now she'll become, she's going to be with somebody at the same time, so that person's opinions and hopes, dreams, and things like that will still blend into what's already here. Just like my wife, her stuff blends into Intermix scheduling, financing, time, all that stuff. It all blends together. So it's not like Intermix is nothing like a regular business where it just does its own thing on its own, and then whatever happens outside of it, fine. It doesn't quite work that way with the way that we tell people God put this together, because he wanted to make us accountable. And I really believe he wanted to make us accountable not only to him but to each other, so that we can start thinking outside of, because we both start off as solo artists. Solo artists don't think about other people, because they don't matter. It's our stuff. So but yet we all grew up, but we both it's only two of us, but we both grew up but we both grew up like in group situations where it was, I was in choirs, a lot of choirs. Jules was, in groups.
Also choirs.
Choirs and groups. So we had that training, but when we did the solo thing, it was because we got tired of people not doing what they said they were going to do. They weren't measuring up. They were trying to use us. A whole bunch of stuff. It's funny how we both have that same story. So I just thought about that. I was like, yeah, wait, wow. But so now that we are a unit, it's important that the big things and the little things, they matter. And one thing that, if you are not like if I wasn't married and I was in this situation with Jules, one thing I can say that I've learned being in this kind of dynamic structure is it would have made me a really good husband when it comes down to it, because I consider my mind is always, and I was saying this the other day, like my mind is always on my the church stuff, my family stuff, Intermix, but more so than Intermix, Jules. But it's only because my thoughts are, is everything okay? How can I improve this process? How can we make this work? But by me thinking about Jules, it helps me think about Intermix. I can't think about Intermix as an entity on its own, because that's not how it's set up. It's set up for my consciously thinking about, how can I make this better for us? How can I make this better for Jules? And by doing that, it's the same way it works in my marriage. How can I make this, let me look at the whole thing. Now, how can I make this better for my wife? If I can make this, if I can smooth this out, if I can make just a small adjustment on something over here, it's going to improve the overall thing for my household. So so that one small adjustment I'm making in my household right now is we're throwing out everything that doesn't belong in this house, because it's just clutter. And I don't like clutter. I'm blind. I trip over stuff. So I can't. And I want to go into my kids' room without fearing for my life. So that's how we deal with it. Where with So I know I got your question. So dealing with like, y'all can see who I'm talking to. I'm sorry, y'all. Jamie, I see your question. When it comes down to how I think about Jules, what's my process like? It's still like, okay, how is she doing? Now, really, honestly, one of my questions I ask when I always put stuff together is, now, how is she going to react to this one? Because, but any man who's been in a relationship of any kind understands this is a very valuable question. You need to ask yourself this question. Don't think you're going to get married and never have to ask yourself this question, because this is a very important question. Listen, man, how is she going to react to this? Can I solve the problem? Should I include her in the problem-solving process? Is this something that needs her attention? Because if I have to bring her into this situation, there better be answers to go with this. Because I kind of expect the same thing, but more so, how's she going to react? Because if someone does something dumb to me, I don't tell Jules about all that stuff, because she takes it very personal. and just like last week, someone called Jules something that I just do not like, and I literally started sweating because I was trying not to be mad because they called her out her name. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, so it's very tightly woven. But I make it a point to remember. I make it a point to remember to include Jules, and this is something that one of the somebody reminded me of a couple years ago, because INNERMIX is doing what it's doing, and because there's no other group like us in the world right now. One of the things that people who were advising me were concerned about was us becoming more business than friends. And because the business is also the friendship in a way, and it's all these different things. So they were telling me never let the business aspect and the chaos of the industry that we're in to overrule the actual interpersonal relationship that I have with Jules, because anybody who knows me knows that I like to work. Right. So so what they reminded me is, but the person that I am, I'm always aware of what's going on with the people around me. I'm always aware of like my friends and all that kind of stuff. They said don't lose that awareness because you're going to look at Jules as a business partner. And so I make it a point to remember that that I need to interact with her outside of business. It's just that everything we do is part of our business. So it's really kind of interesting. It's really interesting, So, but yeah, so that's what I do to keep Jules on my mind. Like, so I try to invite Jules to a lot of the family stuff, not just the business stuff, because she's part of the family. So I make it a point to try to bring those things up, and like church events, my mom's birthday, stuff like that, so that I can really, so that it's not just, hey, let's go to the studio, or hey, let's work on the next acting project, or hey, let's go to, because for us, that is most of the stuff we do together, is acting and singing and prep work for the next adventure and the studios and whatever. That takes, for Intermix, that's 90% of Intermix's time, 90% of Intermix's time. So yeah, and then planning the next shows for you guys, so that kind of thing. What is you can tell this is going to be the last question that y'all going to get the answers to on tonight's show. We might have to continue the episode because we didn't talk much about communication. I should have known that was going to happen as soon as we started talking about premature ejaculation. Okay, so
oh God.
So I'm sorry. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that, Jules?
No, I think we covered it.
Okay. The next question you had in that big old question was, what was one of the more recent things that we had done to each other that we had to that upset the other person? What did I do to upset you, Jules? What was one
Everything.
Of the everything. I breathe. She doesn't like that. Let me think.
God, it's been a while since I've been upset at you. Honestly.
Because I stopped telling you to show up on time.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh man. Yeah, I can't really.
I mean, this was years ago, but well, maybe not years ago, maybe a year, maybe 2 years ago. But this was me being just stupid and selfish, and at the time, like really wanting something that I knew wasn't good for me, but I wanted it anyway, and he basically was like, no.
Oh,
No.
Yes.
And I was, everything that I heard after that was just validating the no to me, even though it had nothing to do with that no.
Uh-huh.
And so, I think at the time I was like, you just want to prove yourself to be right, type attitude for a hot second. And then eventually he was right, but I just had to come to that conclusion on my own. I don't need to be told that you're right. But yeah, I mean, that was so long ago, and I've almost deleted it from my mind until it just came up now. But I want to forget about that forever. Yeah. So anyway,
the way your mind works, that's very possible.
Yeah, I know. I almost succeeded too.
Oh man. I don't really, you know what? I really can't think of anything really, because the hardest thing for me is I'm very what's the word? I'm tone sensitive, right? So I might get mad for a hot second and then be like, cool, whatever. But I'm that person who always I'm very good at controlling my responses, right? So that we can, so that conversations keep going and all that kind of stuff. But I do that. But that's one thing I do with a lot of people. So, like Joe said, when we talk business, it's very cut, cool, whatever, right? But I realize. This is actually years ago too. I remember one day I was irritated because I was like, I just did all this research. I just did all of this, whatever. And then I asked Joyce, she's like, no, that's stupid, and moved on. Didn't provide a solution. Didn't. I'm like, what the? Okay, so what's your idea? What would you like to do? but the patience level has increased so much, like so I'm like, okay, cool, this is working out. But yeah, when I get like disappointed or frustrated or upset at Jules, what am I looking at? Okay, do I talk about it right away? No, probably not, because usually there's probably some work that has to be done in the process. So, and I know that our time schedules are so doggone tight to get certain things done that if it's something that I can't deal with on my own, then I'll bring it up. If I can deal with it on my own, then I just keep pushing, because chances are, there's a solution that I can come up with that's not going to hinder forward movement. But I've learned, now, is that the healthiest way to handle things? Honestly, no, it's not. But is it? Does it make the relationship harder and all that? No, it really doesn't. But the reason is because I know Jules well enough to know the intent behind the things she says and stuff like that. It's just getting past the emotional response to how I heard it. Kind of like what she talked about earlier with her friends. And then after I get past the emotional response, I get very analytical. And I'm like, well, but I know this person. And so I know how to apply the correct filter to what was intended, not what was actually said. So, stuff like that, which is actually something I had to work on. I'm building a workshop. I built a workshop recently, and part of that workshop deals with how to apply the correct filter so that you can hear what was really being said, versus hearing what was said and then just taking it all out
of context.
All out of context, because you didn't think about the person, the way you felt when you read it or heard it. You see what I'm saying? Because all those things play a part. But if you just put the right filter on it so that you can really receive it correctly, then you understand what the intent was behind it most of the time, and that will cause a lot of the confusion to go away. Thank you. I'd like that too. Got a lot of J's tonight. Jalifa?
Unbelievable.
Oh, but Jalifa.
The way you reached that name is hilarious. Okay.
Man, because I was like, that's not an American name, but it could be. But Jalifa, and I hope I say, because it's spelled with a PH, so but anyway, but Jalifa basically said, never thought about the filter. No, a lot of people don't look at it that way, but I figure that using the word filter is really good because of Instagram and stuff. People understand the meaning right away. So, so that's pretty much how we, deal with our, how we communicate with each other. And then how do we interact? Was this part like that? Well, I don't know, same people, but how do we interact as friends outside of work? Well, I pretty much said that. But, see, I don't know where you guys get this stuff from. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm sitting there reading y'all. Okay, so the assumption that is made is like this, okay? And so I'm going to clarify, because I've seen this a few times over the last couple of weeks, so why not, right? So the assumption that is made is that if you guys were never doing the intermix thing, you guys would not be friends, because it would appear that your lives are too different to really basically to really interact. Jules is outgoing and D is a homebody. So therefore, you guys really would not be compatible in a social space outside of what you guys do as INNERMIX. If you guys were not part of INNERMIX, do you believe that you would actually be? Do you believe that you would hang out or even talk on a regular basis? One quick question. That was quick. Okay, one quick question. When it comes to talking to one another, which one of you usually initiates conversation? Well, first off, if we were not part of INNERMIX, Jules and I were interacting before we were INNERMIX.
Thank you. I was about to say that.
Oh man! But before that, I was her manager, and I think more like life coach than manager, to be honest. It was they kind of intertwined. So, and that's where our friendship and everything else was built.
I mean, because there honestly was a point where I didn't do anything music related, even while I knew D, and because I took a hiatus, which he hated me for, and will never let it down.
What? I didn't say nothing.
What? For like 6 months or so, or whatever.
Yeah, it was 6 months. Yeah, exactly 6 months.
Not counting.
It was. Yeah, it was 6 months.
Or so. Anyway.
6 months. No, go. I'm just
but we still kept in contact. We still, were involved. We still, called each other up to make sure things are okay. I still told him of stuff going on. It wasn't like just because music business or entertainment business was not part of the equation that we completely lose all contact and no longer are involved at all in each other's lives. It wasn't like that. And this was even, this was a while ago. So this was prior to INNERMIX even happening, right?
Oh, yeah, it was prior, but INNERMIX was built the year after that.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
So even all that time, we were still, very much involved in each other's lives, and without INNERMIX. So, yeah.
I'm sorry, I just went back and relived the moment. Oh man. So and then So yeah, we definitely we try to get together, interact whenever possible. I think over the last few weeks there have been variations of this same question, but really what it's come down to is you guys are always asking about the quality of our friendship. So but without. It is interesting because you guys are basically saying that we are like family, but we're not like friends, and. But I know that socially people divide these things very, like you're either family or you're a friend. You can't be both, type thing. Kind of like spouse and friend. You can't. Everything's separated from friend. So that's interesting. And then, so when it comes down to communicating, in the beginning, I was, I'm definitely the one who will reach out. I'm the communicator. I'm the, y'all know I can talk. So. So that's kind of how that used to happen. More now, though, more recently, I think, it kind of goes both ways. So it's more, but usually, now you are going to find usually, okay, because I told my wife I was going to tell on her, so I'm going to use her as an example. Usually, there's always a bigger communicator. Like my wife is terrible at communicating with people when it comes down like to her friends. Like she'll make good friends and stuff, and then she just will not. She doesn't think to see what's going on with them or to anything. Just a casual hey, just wanted to check on you, see how things are going, stuff like that. My wife doesn't really do that, right? But yet a lot of my friends. Back in the day, we were kind of like that. Hey, just want to check on you, see what's going on. You want to get together, do something, blah blah. Jules and I, we don't live like right down the street from each other, right? So if we're gonna do something to hang out, it's more of a it's gotta be planned. First off, there's no spontaneous hey, let's, because I'm like an hour and a half separated from Jules, so we don't have that kind of interaction, not like that. But in terms of what you guys consider, now that I'm getting a better understanding of what you're asking, in terms of what you guys are asking, in terms of the whole, like, do we go hang out as friends? Do we go to like movies? Do we go, just have a meal with no other reason to be together other than to go hang out? I don't think there's like that kind of time, to be quite honest, like to go just do casual, regular old stuff. But it's not like we have not done those things. But the more popular, or the more busy, or the more things that come up for INNERMIX, the more that we do those things. But they're somehow somewhat work related.
I mean, even when we go to bars, we have gone to bars with him and his wife and I, the three of us.
Uh-huh.
And then, but it's also because, keep in mind, Dee has 2 kids, and
Yeah.
Unless we find a babysitter last minute, it ain't gonna happen. And so anyway, I guess that time, I forget how it happened, but they found a solution to the kids, and then we went out. But and that was a total casual setting. It wasn't anything business related, but it became a topic that we talked about on the show later, so it's somewhat business related.
Yeah, see, and that's the hard part for us is our lives, our everyday lives become the topics for what we do. That's one of the beautiful parts about what we do, is that everything we go through and everything we experience can be used for what we do for a job, what we do for our living. But at the same time, I do believe, yes, 3 of you, God. But yes, I'm just gonna answer this question like this. It is important when you're friends, and I think we said this on the other show before too. When you are working with one of your friends, it's important to always try to make time to do things that just normal friends do, to figure out how that dynamic is working. And the reason I say that is because sometimes you can get so caught up in the work and in the activities and the whatever that you forget how to identify the things that are going on with the person. And there's a seminar, actually, if you guys look throughout Google Plus or whatever, there's a seminar that's dealing exactly with that thing for young entrepreneurs who are learning how to build a business, because a lot of these businesses are failing because they forgot how to, I call it reading, how to read their friends. They only notice the big things, the big changes, but they don't notice the little nuances that they used to notice, because those, you don't really make time, you don't have time and don't make time for those things. So and that can happen to anybody, to be quite honest. Like if I didn't pay attention, if Jules didn't pay attention, that would happen to us, because we have lives totally separate from each other, and somehow they still end up mixing, intermix. So because of it, it's important that and I think that's where the acting stuff, to be quite honest, really helps us out. It really helps us out because we have to know each other well enough to know how to pull these great qualities, these great skills, and these great things to the surface. And so that kind of interaction, that kind of social interaction, oh my God, for real? Okay. Well, first off, we're at our 2-hour mark, but I know we started a little late. That's why I'm giving you guys this little extra time. But so this is where all this is stemming from, Jules. And I didn't think about this. I didn't realize this, but someone said, well, we were just trying to figure out, basically, okay, so there's a group of people, this is the Yahoo group, and they were a little annoyed, and they were trying to figure out why, how come I wasn't jumping out of an airplane with you. Okay, first off, what was I doing that weekend? I didn't even know she was going skydiving, first off. I had no clue. That's one thing. The other thing, too, was...
why they gotta get annoyed?
I don't know. Like, you know what? We probably talked about it before in older shows, because remember, these are old-time fans. People who ask these kind of questions, Jules, are not new. They're the ones who came up from the radio show, most likely. I know one of them particularly is. But whatever. And then, see, this is what y'all trying to do. Okay, I see where y'all going. So Tracy is saying, well, aren't you disappointed? Aren't you frustrated, because that was supposed to be like a cool thing for INNERMIX to do? And well, honestly, I thought like there were two aspects that hit me when I first thought about it. First one was quite honestly, like, oh, I wanted to go do that with Jules. Now it's not going to be the same if we go do it, right? That was my very first opinion, because now it won't be like we're both doing this for the first time and great experience, you know. And so now if we go again, it's just going to be, I've done this before, and I'm just going to be the new kid on the block with it. And I've had that happen to me a couple times in my life where I'm like, forget it, right? So, so that was my emotional reaction to it at first, and I was like, cool though, she got to go do this. So I'm divided, because my friend got to go do this really cool thing. But then I thought about it practically. Okay, just, you know, then the logical side of me kicked in. And what happened was this. She got sick, and she'd be the one driving, because I can't drive, so it wouldn't have helped out anything, because now she would have been dizzy trying to drive us back to wherever, right? So although in theory it would have been really cool, in practice it probably wouldn't have worked out so well. So, you know, so I said, I guess, you know, it's better that way, because we'd have both been sitting on the side of the road waiting for her to get her balance and her eyesight back and stop throwing up. so it, you know, and then I'd have felt bad because I couldn't have just drove because she wasn't feeling well and all that kind of stuff. So this worked out, because I keep forgetting that she has motion sickness issues. This is the girl who likes to, you know, who went parasailing, but gets motion sickness. Forgot she had to get on a boat to go, you know, like she was in Hawaii. Forgot she had to get on a boat to go swim with these, you know, sea creatures and stuff. Like, I understand why I forget you get motion sickness. How do you forget?
I don't know. Don't ask me these things.
So yeah, so it probably in you know, that would work. Now, you guys get so emotionally invested into all the things that happen with INNERMIX, you guys, I think, forget that we're two separate people who have our own individual lives that we lead, and then we do things together as INNERMIX. And I understand that, because everybody does this. You know, like when you have your favorite TV show, you assume that all the characters hang out after the show is, you know, after they've taped the episode. You know, Joey's still hanging out with Ross and Rachel, and because everybody's like, because they get along so well. But they all had stuff they had to do outside of taping the show, right? So that's kind of what I think happens. And thank you for being fans, because that means that you guys are so emotionally invested. But don't get mad at Jules for having a life. don't think we're about to break up because, you know, whatever. And because one person is voicing, Jules, that's their major concern, is that, you know, they thought we were gonna, they thought it would, like, you know, they're doing that whole Team J, Team D thing again. That happened earlier in the year, I think. You know, all that kind of stuff. But no, because like if I go shooting, you know, like a couple of months ago, I went shooting and that was great. You know, had a good time. But me and Jules are always talking about going shooting. You know, but she wasn't with us when my whole group went to go, you know, go up and go shooting. You know, there's that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, why aren't they getting mad about that?
Say again? Yeah, because they probably didn't know. I don't even know if I talked about it.
Why don't you say it?
No, because I talked about camping. I got to talk about what we did at the camp. So, well, Jules, man. But, you know, it's cool to have fans that are that invested. You know, that's how come people get mad at their favorite characters and say, how could you do that to them? And then they stalk them, and then they had it at their house because they're like, how could you treat her so bad? Remember, back in the 90s, they were just crazy.
Scary.
They were crazy fans. No, now they're not crazy anymore. They're not as crazy. But back in the 90s, before the internet really did what it was doing, people would show up and say, how could you treat Rachel so badly? You know you need her, Ross. You know, didn't even know their real names. They were just talking to the characters.
Yeah, that's scary.
But you know, so thank you guys for being such good fans. A lot of you guys who are writing, who were concerned about this particular aspect of things, don't worry about it. Jules and I, we cool, we tight, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh at you guys, but that is cute. That is cute as hell. Oh man, so thank you. Oh, and shouts out to the new group that's now tuning into our Google Hangouts and stuff. So thank you for that. And I believe you guys are located in Italy. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Anyway, Yeah. Anyway, you guys are gonna get a great big announcement. Big announcement. We have a really cool thing to announce coming up in the next couple of weeks. So look forward to that. This show did not go as planned. I'm just gonna tell you
At
that
all.
at all. But it was fun, and I hope that we were able to help you guys out by at least telling you how we communicate with each other a little bit. But we are gonna revisit this topic, if not next week, then probably within the next few weeks, because communication is a very big thing, especially right now, especially with everything you guys are asking about, even in these comments and stuff. So we're definitely going to tackle this again, and it'll just be part 2. Also, if you guys want to find us on social media, you can hit us up on Twitter at intermix_show. There is Facebook. Just type in intermix, and you will see our beautiful faces pop up. And then there's Google Plus, which is where we are now, and that is Plus Intermix Show. And then, of course, we have Instagram. Got some new pictures coming up for that, so look forward to that. People are still asking for Jules' shoe collection. That is funny, but that'll be coming. We'll see if we can get that up. We can make that happen for you. But that's Intermix 360. Also, we have Intermix 360, the website. Intermix360.com is coming soon, where you guys can find everything Intermix, everything we do, from the life coaching to acting reels to all the stuff. It's going to all be there soon. So, give us a little bit of time to make it just right for you guys, and we will be directing you there when it comes up. Other than that, anything else you want to say? You see how I just wrapped it all up because we're over our time?
I think you did a good job.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I tried.
We love you guys. We'll see you next week, next Monday, 9 p.m.
And that specific standard time for those of y'all who are in other places. But anyway, yeah. She forgets she's talking to the world sometimes because she believes she is the world. I'm not going to say that because y'all be making too many assumptions already. You know how funny? Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me say this real quick. It's funny how last week y'all thought that that she could do so much better because she's beautiful. Because she's beautiful, and as one of you said, and I'm the creature she tags along with. That was funny. But and then this week, y'all say that that we're unbalanced because we could never truly be friends. I'm really looking forward to see what next week brings. Because all these things in a performance aspect and what we do aspect make it where we know you guys are paying attention to who we are, and for some of you who keep doing this dumb stuff on our page that got blocked recently, but you're still listening to the show, haters need jobs too. And thank you for doing what you do, because it makes it easier for us to advertise who we are and what we do. So thank you.
Cat Williams said too.
Did he?
Yep. Haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate. So it's cool. But anyway, you guys, love you, and that's how come I can be so happy even in the crazy messages I'm seeing pop up even now. So have a great night. Have a great week. Work on the communication skills that you did hear from tonight, which is consider the person that you're talking to before you open your mouth. Mm-hmm. That will sum up everything. That sums up everything, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, there you go. Well, good night, you guys. This is Simply D.
It's Jules. We'll see you next week.
Next week, y'all.
Bye.